Welcome to Coach's Corner, where I break down questions and topics from my community that I know will resonate with you all. After all, if someone has a question, then it's very likely somebody else has the same one. So the question was a bit more of a statement during an onboard session with a new client, and she basically said, I do not know where to start anymore. So in this video, I'm going to show you a handful of things that actually matter for you to get stronger, fitter, and even lose weight if you want to, and stay active for many years to come. So if you haven't met yet, I'm Gavin. I co-own New Zealand's only fitness studio for people over the age of 40, and personal training and coaching is what I do all day long. So here's something fitness influencers don't talk about enough. Getting stronger, fitter, or even losing weight after 50 is way simpler than most people think. You do not have to be training in the gym 6 days a week. Your workouts don't need to be 2 hours long. You do not need to lift extremely heavy weights or follow extreme diets. And you certainly don't need tons of core exercises. I understand that firsthand because for the first 30 years of my life, I was weak, I was overweight, I was unfit. And when I started training, I didn't even go to a gym. I trained at home with some resistance bands and a pull-up bar. And at the time, I'd even been through 3 or 4 knee surgeries. And there was a huge amount of conflicting and confusing advice, but there was some key concept that rang true throughout the whole information. Then I became a personal trainer to learn how to do it properly for myself, and I had no intention of ever doing this for a living. And the reason I ended up opening up a gym for people over 40 and made this channel is because I want to see you be the fittest and healthiest version you've ever been in the simplest possible way. Because I know fitness is simple. The fitness world seems to have made everything sound incredibly complicated. New workouts, new trends, new diets, new supplements, new rules every single week. But there are a couple of things that ring true throughout the whole process. First thing I want to talk to you about is lifestyle fitness. It's more of a concept. And what is really being strong enough and fit enough to do all the things that you love to do. So if you like to hike, then you train for hiking. And if you love gardening, then you train for that. Whatever the goal, the principles are exactly the same. So first of all, we need to understand what the mission is in terms of, all those getting stronger, getting fitter. And what I wanted to show you is a kind of a chart that all of us go through as we get older. So you're obviously born about there, and your strength will naturally increase by really doing nothing because you're getting older and your muscle mass sort of gets to a peak around 20 to 30 years old, right? Then once you get to 20 or 30 years old, your muscle mass naturally starts to decline by about 10% per decade, unless you're doing resistance training continuously to sort of bridge that gap, right? So when you get to like 50, 60, 70, unless you're doing something to combat your muscle loss, you're going to keep declining. And if you get to a certain level, this level here is where it's called the disability threshold. And if you get underneath this bit here, it's where you need help going to the bathroom, people grabbing your groceries, walking upstairs, getting off the couch, and you do not want to be here. So the mission that you need to be on to start with and understand is that you need to replace the muscle you've lost to a certain degree. So let's just say you stay at 30 and you start sort of resistance training continuously. You expand that time before you get into disability zone. So when you're in 50, 60, 70, all you're doing, you're replacing the muscle that you've already lost. Muscle has memory, and when you start to train it, it kind of builds to where it likes to be, the sort of the threshold that it wants to sit at. So that's the mission that you're on to start with. So when you're resistance training, you're not there to build massive biceps and get massive legs. You're there to prevent this decline happening. And when you understand that, this whole process becomes way simpler. So now we understand the mission that we're on. And number one, strength training is the cornerstone of what you do, all right? And when it comes to it, you've got to be a little bit smart. So you may have some injuries now, you may have picked up some niggles over the years, but we can still strength train around those injuries. Now, I can't go into every single injury and every single, alternative exercise to do, but what I will say, you need to pick 3 to 4 exercises. I'm going to quickly talk to you about what they are, right? So number one, you need to start working on your legs, all right? And leg strength declines 2 times faster than the upper body. So we need to understand that leg training needs to be a staple within your training regime, right? Now, before I jump in, if you've got no idea where to start with a strength training program, I have a free one that you can have by just commenting strength down below, and I'll send it to you absolutely free. I've also got something called the Strength Reset, which is a paid program. It's based on 10,000 hours of one-to-one coaching time with my clients. It's very simple process, and it covers off training, nutrition, whole bunch of stuff in there. You can get that in the description as well, right? But like leg training is going to be the key thing, and the way you do it is by literally just doing a couple of exercises. It could be a goblet squat like this, okay? It could be a lunge. You don't have to have a weight, by the way. You can do it body weight as well, okay? It could be a lunge. It could be a step up onto a box. But there are some exercises that you need to be doing on a daily basis. Very, very simple. And you find an exercise that, number one, doesn't cause you pain. Number two, that challenges you. And number three, gives you an option to get stronger within that exercise. Which leads me on to then the next thing. You want to be doing about 12 to 15 reps. So like I said at the beginning, you don't need super heavy weights, but what you do need to have is some effort with the weights that you use. And if you use 12 to 15 reps as a guide, you're always going to have light enough weights that you can control, minimize the risk of injury, but still get stronger with those weights over time, so your relative strength goes up as well. The next kind of exercise you want to be looking for is something that's going to work on your chest. And it could be a press up. It could be a press up on the floor. It could be a dumbbell press like that. It could be an assisted press up where you use a bar and you do press ups. You need something that's going to push, because the muscles that you use to push are going to be your chest, your triceps, and your shoulders. Now we've got our legs covered. Now we've got our chest and triceps and shoulders covered. Then you're going to need some kind of pulling exercise. And I like to do 2 sets of pulling exercise. You pull down from the top, hits the sort of lats part of it, and you pull from the front, and it hits your sort of posture and the upper back muscles, okay? But you could just pick one if you wanted to. So you're going to find yourself a pulling exercise. It could be pulling with a resistance band. It could be doing a bent over row. It could be sitting on a machine, using bands, whatever. It doesn't matter. Pick a pulling exercise that you like. So now we've got our legs covered, we've got our chest covered, now we've got our back covered. And when you do pulling exercises, you work on the biceps at exactly the same time. So that's the 3 exercises. Then you may need a core exercise. And a simple core exercise could be, when you think functionality, or it could be a farmer's carry or a suitcase carry, because our core does a couple of different things. It stabilizes us, it stops us from bending and falling over. And if you do a suitcase carry like this, you're hitting all the side of one core, on one side of your core, but because this weight wants to pull you down this way, and it pulls you back up and you stabilize. So really, you're going to pick 4 exercises, and you're going to do them about 3 times per week. And when you're doing 3 times per week, it's plenty of time to do the exercises, put a lot of effort in. You want to be struggling 12 to 15 reps kind of scenario. Then you're going to take a rest, and you're going to do it again 2 or 3 more times. So each exercise is done 3 times with a 30-second rest in between, with 1 whole day of rest in between of weight training, and then you do the thing 3 times. So if you're committing to 3 strength sessions a week, about 30 minutes long, hour and a half per week is plenty. That is as simple as it's going to get. And when I have clients come into me in the gym, that is all they're doing. And they go, do I need to do more? I said, no, you don't. Like, that is plenty to get started. Then you think about then cardio. So principle number 2 is cardio. You need to be doing some kind of cardio on the daily basis. Now, the really baseline level is 150 minutes of cardio per week. It's about 20 minutes a day, team. It isn't a huge amount of cardio. Or it could be 3 50-minute sessions a week if you want. It doesn't matter. But the idea of it is you do something called zone 2 cardio for the most part, because most of us don't enjoy cardio to start with. We don't like high intensity cardio. And if you're someone like me that's got bad knees and whatnot as well, you don't want to be doing really super high intense cardio, because your body doesn't recover as fast. Something you don't necessarily enjoy doing again. But I do love going for walks and bike rides and swims, and all those things contribute to my 150 minutes of cardio per week. When you sit in that zone, it actually enhances everything else that you do, because somebody that has literally just done an Ironman last weekend, right? Cardio has become a huge part of my life. And I was up to training about 20 hours per week by the end of it. And I can tell you now, I've got so much more energy by doing cardio. And most of my Ironman training cardio is in zone 2. And zone 2 cardio builds your tank, your energy tank, because I have to do 12 and a half hours of consistent movement through swimming, biking, and running. So I've really got an affinity with cardio that I never used to have before. And I got so much more energy now. And like, again, when you're looking to get older, getting fitter, energy is a big part of that, okay? You need to have more energy, because you've got no energy, then you're not going to be able to do any of this other stuff. And a lot of times I hear people say, I'm just too tired to exercise. Now that leads beautifully into concept number 3, and that is going to be sleep. So many of you guys don't sleep properly. You don't have a good sleeping plan, right? And it was something I learned a long time ago, was a go to bed alarm. Go to bed alarm, not a wake up alarm. Because if you set a go to bed alarm, it allows you to get some kind of sleeping habit, some sleep hygiene going. And what I recommend to my clients is, some of the guys are staying up till midnight every single night. It's crazy. They get up at maybe 6 in the morning. They're only getting 6 hours sleep. So I say, right, let's start getting a go to bed alarm. So if you go to bed at 12, let's say, or 10, doesn't matter. The principle is the same. You set an alarm for half an hour before that, right? And then let's just say bedtime's at 10, you set an alarm at 9:30. And at 9:30, that is the time that you put your phone down, brush your teeth, you get ready for bed. So by 10 o'clock, you're actually in bed. And because you've had a bit of time not looking at devices, not having your brain stimulated and whatnot, then you're gonna be in a much calmer state going to bed. And then what I like you guys to do, try and get 7 to 8 hours sleep every night. I mean, I would recommend a bit more, 9 or 10, but I do realize it's very difficult. But a little bit more sleep is gonna do wonders for you. And then you just apply the process. So if you think, right, okay, go to bed at 10 o'clock, I set my go to bed alarm at 9:30, you could then extend it back a bit further. You go, right, I'm gonna set my go to bed alarm at 9 o'clock now, then get into bed at 9:30, or just increments of that by 5 or 10 minutes. And you will start to get to bed earlier. You start to fall asleep quicker, and you'll have a better deep sleep. And when you're doing resistance training and cardio, and you start going to bed better, you will have all the makings of being much, much fitter and healthier than you currently are, with abundance of energy as well to keep you going throughout the day. And the fourth principle I want to talk to you about is losing some weight. And I know weight loss is very difficult, and there's lots of conflicting ways to do it. But personally, I've been there. I've lost 20 kilos or 44 pounds, okay? And I've kept it off for 17 years. And I've helped hundreds and hundreds of people over 40, 50, 60, 70 lose a lot of weight. And in fact, on average, I tend to help people lose about 20 kilos across our gym, the stats that we capture. And to lose weight is like way simpler than you think. It's maybe a little bit harder to put into place. And one of the quick wins I'd like to share with you, one of the quick wins for you, is to understand the calories in your food, because so many people have no idea how many calories in the food they eat. And I want you to play along with me here. I want you to nip into the kitchen or whatever it is you're doing, pick up a food item, a potato, a banana, an apple, whatever that is. And I want you to hold it in your hand, and I want you to guess how much weight that is. And I guarantee 99% of you will get this wrong. And I'll give you a really good example of why that's important. If you pick up, say, an apple, and it's 100 grams, and that's 100 calories, then good on you, it's 100 calories. But if you pick up an apple, that's 250 or 300 grams, and you think it's 100 calories, now it's not, it's 300 calories. So you're like way out, there's a 200 calorie discrepancy there. So the mere fact of weighing out that food item and understanding what a piece of food looks like and how many calories are related to that food will send you a long way. So I've got a client right now called Mark, and he had a stomach surgery a few years ago, and he's blown back up to 150 odd kilos or 160 kilos. And just by doing this alone, for him to weigh out some food items, he's dropped 10 kilos in the last sort of 6 weeks, okay? And he said, look, I wish somebody had showed me this before I had my surgery, because I didn't even know this was a thing. And the problem is, when you have surgery interventions like that, they don't really teach you how to do the weight loss properly. But I promise you, if you spend a little bit of time weighing out some food, the food that you currently eat, by the way, nothing new or special, you will be amazed at how many extra calories you're eating. A 10 gram Dollop of butter is about 100 calories. A glug of oil in the pan to stir fry is 120 calories. A dollop of mayonnaise is about 150 calories, right? And all these things add up over time. And if you're off by 50 calories per meal, you could potentially be overeating 250 calories per day, which is nearly, you know, a couple of thousand a week extra, all by not understanding your calories in your food. So if you do resistance training, okay, you'll get stronger. Now, if you do more cardio, you'll have more energy, you'll be fitter, you'll have better heart health. If you then get more sleep, you'll have more energy, okay? And then if you lose some weight and don't carry around pounds and pounds of extra body fat, you will then be fitter and stronger and healthier inside, right? So that's really how easy fitness can be. Now, the thing that's gonna stump you more than anything else is consistency. And this is a bit of a bonus tip for you. Consistency comes from having a really solid, important goal. Because like when I was overweight, my goal was never to be fat again. I didn't want to be fat anymore. I was sick and tired of it. I'd been a fat child, fat adult, fat teenager, and it was enough. And that goal, that mindset shift was me never to be fat again, gave me the energy and motivation and discipline I needed to be consistent with it. Because previously, I was a yo-yo dieter. I'd go to the gym, stop going to the gym, work out, stop working out. But that was a thing for me. And there's lots of other personal reasons in there that made me do it. Then when I started training for my Ironman last year, the Ironman was the goal. And I did not train those 20 hours a week because I didn't want to fail the Ironman. The goal was massive. But in the meantime, I learned a lot. So you need a goal that is so big, it's going to pull you towards it, and it's going to keep you consistent over the course of time. And you may reestablish new goals, but the process I've just laid out for you is very simple. The whole concept is simple. And if you work on little things at a time, you may say, today, I'm just going to work on, for the next couple of weeks, strength training. And you just do strength training. Boom, 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 boom. Once you get your strength training down, bit of a habit, doing it a lot, you're right. Now, I'm going to start adding some cardio in. Boom, 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 boom. You don't have to do the whole thing all at once. You just need to do those 4 things consistently over time. And what you'll find is the more success you get with it, because it's now smaller, easier goals, the more motivated you become to stick to that plan. And you don't need anything special, no special fads, no special exercises. You know, you just pick them out, pick the 4 that you like, you keep doing them 3 times a week, and you're gonna get better and better and better, right? So hopefully, like, you understand what I'm trying to get through here. You don't need crazy stuff to do it, right? And also, if you need some help, I'm more than happy to help you, set you a plan, work you through it, and there's links in the description for that, whether it be one-to-one coaching with me or buying my Strength Reset, which really has everything in there anyway. If you work with me one-to-one, it's more about accountability and personalization of the plans that I put together. And there's a whole bunch of free guides as well. So you can just like bypass the other stuff and get the free guides down below as well, right? So hopefully you made it this far. Hopefully you understand what I'm trying to get through to you. And hopefully it kind of demystifies the whole fitness thing. But honestly, guys, like, we have people in our gym, 50, 60, 70, becoming incredible human beings, fitter, stronger, ticking off goals, doing massive hikes, walks, you know, all those things, right? It's not just for those people. This is for you as well, providing you have that structure, process, and you keep it super simple. Now, this is a Coach's Corner video, and anybody that's watched my Coach's Corner video before, you know there's gonna be a simple keyword at the end. You're my people, you're the ones that stick to the end, and you're the ones I love to serve the most. So today, the keyword really is this. Just type in simple in the comments, and I know that you watched the full video. So I'm gonna leave a video in the top corner there, which I think you may like. So head over to that video, and I'll see you there very shortly.